Hello all, welcome to the Mastering Up YouTube channel. Here in Foundations in Plant Physiology and Anatomy. Today our class is on the topic of meristematic tissues and their functions. So myself Sarangi, I will be taking your class. Okay, so before learning about the meristematic tissue, we need to learn what is tissue. So in the first class itself, I told you tissue are the group of cells that work together to perform specific functions. Okay, so about plant tissue refers to a group of cells in plants that work together to perform specific functions. These cells share a common origin, structure and function, and they are organized into different types of tissues based on their roles in growth, support, transport and storage. So basically what are tissue? That first of all, they are the group of cells that work together to perform specific functions. Okay, then these cells share a common origin. So if to make a tissue, the cells will be forming tissues. Okay, so these tissues should be of common origin, and they should be of common structure, and they should perform common functions, and they are organized into different types of tissues based on their roles in growth, support, transport and storage. About that we will discuss in this class itself. Okay, so the plant tissues are broadly classified into meristematic tissue, that is responsible for the growth, and permanent tissue, that are specialized for specific functions. Okay, so our topic, this meristematic tissue, here, it is responsible for the growth, and the permanent tissue, they are specialized for specific functions. Okay, now next, types of plant tissues. So plant tissues are, like I told you, it's meristematic and permanent. Okay, now first permanent. Permanent tissue, they are there for a specific function. So the simple permanent tissue is again classified into two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. This simple permanent tissue is again differentiated into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And this complex permanent tissue, it is divided into two types: xylem and phloem. This xylem, these all cells are there, that is tissues are there, tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. And this phloem, it is made up of sieve tube elements, companion cells, for phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So this xylem and phloem, they together forms this complex permanent tissue. So this xylem and phloem, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, their function we will be discussing in the coming class. And also this xylem and phloem, they are there for the transport mechanism of water and minerals and the food that is made by the green parts of the plant. Okay, now coming to the meristematic tissue, we have apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. About these, in this class we will be discussing about this meristematic tissue. There will be apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Okay, so let's know what is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is a fundamental type of plant tissue comprising undifferentiated actively dividing cells. Okay, this meristematic tissue, they are comprised of undifferentiated. So there is no differentiate. These cells are not formed into different they are not there for the different functions and all. These cells are not differentiated at all, and they're actively dividing cells. These cells are for the growth, that's why they're actively dividing, and also they're undifferentiated. Okay, note these points: undifferentiated and actively dividing cells. These cells retain the ability to divide and are crucial for the growth and developments of plants. Okay, so this meristematic tissue, it is crucial for the growth and development of plants. Unlike other plants, meristematic cells are specialized to remain in a juvenile state, which allows them to continuously produce new cells. Okay, these meristematic cells, they are there for the growth. I told you that. And for the growth, they need to continuously produce new cells. So it is said that these meristematic cells tend to remain in a juvenile state, and continuously they are producing new cells for the growth. So here some pictures are there. We will be discussing about these pictures in the next slide. So here you can see, it is the portion of a meristematic tissue in the giving rise to axillary buds and leaves. Okay, so this is the picture. We don't need to have this deep knowledge on that and all, because about this we will be learning deeply in another class. So these two pictures we will be dealing with them in the next slides. Okay, so first of all, let's know the characteristics of meristematic tissue. Cell structure first. So the shape, meristematic tissue, they are generally small because they are actively growing, they are producing new cells again and again, their primary function is the growth, so they are small and nearly spherical or polygonal in shape. Just imagine they are spherical or polygonal to cover that maximum space. Okay, so the cell wall, they are made up of thin, cell wall is thin and made up of cellulose, which allows the flexibility of cell division. For the flexible cell division, this cell wall, it is thin, that is made, and it is made up of cellulose. And cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is dense with little or no vacuoles to maximize the space available for cell division. Okay, so the major characteristic, the major goal of this meristematic tissue is cell division. So the cell is formed in such a way that such a way to maximize the space available for the cell division. Now nucleus, large centrally located nucleus to control the cell division, and plastids, proplastids, that is immature plastids are present. These immature plastids later differentiate into functional chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. They are the pigments. We will also discuss it in that photosynthesis class and all. Now the absence of differentiation. As I told you earlier that the cells are undifferentiated and totipotent. Undifferentiated, I told you that these cells, they don't form another big or some other functional part or something. Their only goal is to multiply and grow. So this they are totipotent. Okay, so this is totipotent. What is totipotency? Totipotency is the potential to develop into any plant part that have a potential to develop into any type of plant cell. Okay, so that is what called meristematic tissue. They major this one. This one is also a very major characteristics of meristematic tissue. That is, it is undifferentiated and it is totipotent. So what is totipotent? Meaning they have the potential to develop into any type of plant cell. Now metabolic activity. This meristematic tissue, since they are rapidly dividing, that's why they have high metabolic activity to support the rapid cell division. Now types of meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue also, there are some different types of meristematic tissue here present. Based on location, we have apical or terminal meristem. They are located on the tips of root and stem. Then we have cambium or lateral meristem located under the bark, and intercalary meristem located in the leaves and internodes. Okay, so just here I think you can just keep in mind all these. From this name itself you can know where all part it is located. So the apical meristem will be on the apex, in the root apex and shoot apex it will be present, in the located at the tips of root and stem, or we can call it as terminal meristem. And next is cambium or lateral meristem. So the lateral meristem, lateral part, what is present in the lateral part? It is the bark. Okay, so the cambium or lateral part meristem, it is located under the bark. So the bark, this bark thing, it is it is the dead part of the plant. It is the dead cells that forms this bark. So under the bark there is a living part, and that is that has cambium or lateral meristem. Now intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem are located in the internodes and leaves. So about this type of meristem, based on the location, we will be dealing with this type of meristems. Okay. Now based on origin, they are promeristem, primary meristem and secondary meristem. So this promeristem, they originates from the embryo, and this primary meristem, they originates from promeristem, and the secondary meristem, they originate from the permanent tissues. Now based on function, protoderm, procambium and ground meristem. Protoderm protects from mechanical shock, procambium give rise to xylem and phloem, and ground meristem forms the cortex, pericycle and pith. Okay, so this will also we will discuss it other type of meristematic tissue classes. So basically we need to know about these three meristem, that is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. So the types of meristematic tissue based on location. First, apical meristem. You can here see it is present on the apex. Okay, so this apical meristem, it is also called terminal meristem. This lateral meristem, here it is present on the lateral side, or the cambium meristem. So it is present on the lateral side of the plant. And intercalary meristem, they are present on the internodes and leaves. So the transverse section of the shoot showing the lateral meristem. So here you can see the lateral meristem is present underneath the cork. It is present under the cork. Okay. So you can see this one is the cork and it is present underneath the cork. It is the transverse section of the lateral meristem. Now let's look into each meristems. Okay. So location, apical meristem, its location and function. Apical meristem is found in the growing tips of root and stems, and their function is responsible for the primary growth, which increases the length of the plant and produce new leaves, flowers and branches, and forms protoderm, procambium and ground meristem, which give rise to epidermis, vascular tissue and ground tissue respectively. So this apical meristem, this meristem that is present in the apex of root and shoot. So this apical meristem, they forms protoderm, procambium and ground meristem, and these give rise to epidermis, vascular tissue and ground tissues. Okay, so this what was this protoderm, procambium and ground meristem? They are the meristematic tissue based on the functions. So this apical meristem, they forms these three meristems. Okay. Now lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is the name. It is the cork cambium meristem or lateral meristem. They are found in the vascular or cork cambium along the sides of the stems of root. So these things, they are present along the sides. Okay. So it is like a circumference covering the sides of this stem or roots. Now the function, they are responsible for the, okay, so in the root and stem case, this apical meristem, they are present on the top portions of root, tip portions of root and stem. But this lateral meristem, they are present on the circumference, or you can say they are present along the sides of the stem and roots. Here in this picture you can see it is like it is covering the circumference of this stem is the lateral meristem. So just like this, they are along the sides of the stem or root, the lateral meristem is present, and it is responsible for the secondary growth, that is increasing the thickness or girth. Apical meristem, their function was to increase the length, and lateral meristem, it is to increase the thickness or girth of the plant. And it forms secondary tissues like secondary xylem in wood and secondary phloem, which contribute to the structural support and water nutrient transport. Okay, so that was the case of lateral meristem. Now at last, intercalary meristem. As the name suggests, it's present on the internodes, nodes and the bases of leaves. So their function is, it helps in the regrowth and elongation of parts, especially the grasses and monocots. Okay, so this intercalary meristem, they helps in regrowth and elongation of parts, especially in case of grasses and monocots. They provide flexibility for plants to adapt to mechanical stresses or grazing by animals. Okay, so this one is important. The major function of intercalary meristem is they provide flexibility for plants to adapt to mechanical stresses or grazing by animals. So this intercalary meristem, they provide a strength to the flexibility and strength to the plants. So because the seeds, they helps in the regrowth and elongation of different parts of the plants. Now here is the picture. It is a summary. Okay, basically this picture shows the summary. This apical meristem, they are present on the tips. Okay, so here you can see it is not shown as a tip. Okay, so this apical meristem, it is present on the tip parts of root and stem. Apical meristem is present, and intercalary meristem is present on the nodes and the base of the leaves, and lateral meristem is present along the sides of stem and root. So the differentiation of meristematic tissue. Okay, I told you meristematic tissue, they are undifferentiated, but these meristematic tissues, they gradually specialize to perform specific functions. This process is known as cell division. So cell differentiation. So what is cell differentiation? Basically, the new cells gradually specialize to perform specific functions from the old cell. So this process is known as cell differentiation. And the cell differentiation in meristematic tissue results in the formation of permanent tissues like parenchyma. They are basic packing tissues. Collenchyma, support tissues in growing regions, and sclerenchyma, dead supportive tissue for the strength. So the parenchyma for packing, collenchyma for support, and sclerenchyma for support tissues in growing regions, and sclerenchyma support tissues for their strength. By maintaining the regions of the active growth, meristematic tissue ensure the continuous growth, adaptation and survival of plants throughout their life cycle. So the plants need to grow, right? So this meristematic tissue helps in the adaptation and survival of the plants throughout their life cycle. So see, let's again recap: parenchyma packing, collenchyma support in the growing regions, and sclerenchyma support for strength. Okay, so that's all with the differentiation of meristematic tissue. Now conclusion. Plant tissues play a vital role in growth, development, and overall functioning of the plant. They are organized into meristematic tissue, which drive growth through continuous cell division, and permanent tissue, which specialize in various structural and physiological functions such as support, transport, and storage. This organized division of labor within the plant tissue ensures efficient adaptation to the environmental conditions, substances, and survival. Understanding the plant tissues is fundamental to comprehending how plants grow, repair themselves, and maintain their biological process. So basically, what is being said here that these plant tissues, these meristematic tissues, these plant tissues, they are really important for the growth and development of the plant and to perform the functions of the plant. Okay, so there are these plant tissues. There is a division of labor among the plant tissue. Some are meristematic, some are permanent. Okay, so the meristematic, they are for the growth of the cell throughout the life cycle, and permanent tissue, they are there for the specialized structural and physiological functions such as transport, support, and storage. Okay, this organized division of labor within the plant tissue ensures efficient adaptation to the environmental conditions. Okay, so this division of labor within this plant tissue, they are helping in the adaptation to different environmental conditions that is being happening, and here it helps the plants for the survival. So okay, so the understanding of plant tissues is really important to know about the biological processes happening inside the plant. Okay, so let's just recap with that diagram. Apical meristem, you can here see it is present on the tip of the root and stem. Intercalary meristem along the sides of the stem and root, and intercalary meristem in the internodes, nodes, and base of the leaf. And lateral meristem, they are present on the sides of the stem. Okay, the functions and locational functions we already discussed. And this is the meristematic tissue. Here you can see apical meristem is present on the apex of root and stem. Lateral meristem along the sides of the root and stem, and intercalary meristem on the internodes, nodes, and basal parts of the leaves. So that's all with the class of meristematic tissue. I am Sarangi Santosh, and thank you for this class. Thank you for joining this class. See you soon on the next class.